Hey, it's Dr. J. Hi students, I'm here to deliver a video lecture for you on Chapter 9. It's going to be an add-on to Chapter 8, which also discussed accounting. So Chapter 9 is all about acquiring and using funds to maximize value. All right, so when we talk about maximizing value, we're talking about maximizing the value in your business, whether you are an entrepreneur working for yourself, or in a partnership working with another person, or within a business working as a contributor to an organization. Okay? All right, so we're going to identify some financial management goals, as well as evaluating the major sources of funds that are available to meet a business's short and long-term financial needs. All right, we're also going to describe how financial managers acquire and manage current assets. I think that's important that we're going to dive into that. All right, so what motivates financial decisions? Okay, there's a lot of things that motivate financial decisions, from wanting to grow the company, to wanting to create a new product, to expanding the employees within the company. Sometimes the shareholders are part of the decisions, as well as just the overall understanding of just growing the company and making sure it's as profitable and has longevity for the future. Okay? All right, so shareholder value, just jump right into that. Shareholder value and social responsibility. Does good behavior pay off? So shareholder value is really important because even though the shareholders may or may not work directly for the company, because there's some companies that are shareholder-based companies. If you see on certain products, it'll say, employee-owned company, meaning that all the employees own shares in that particular company. Okay, I know, for example, Apple is a shareholding company, and there's some other, large technology companies that are shareholders, like Facebook, Google, and some other ones. That is because they want to empower the employees to feel and know that they are the company and that their ideas and their input matters. That's the whole purpose of it. It's employee empowerment. Okay, it establishes an understanding that you are important because you are a part of the company. Okay, all right. So going off to the tangent where it says, "Does good behavior pay off?" Well, it depends. It depends on the shareholders. It depends on what the shareholders' needs are. So if there's a collective thought of understanding that the shareholders want to grow the company, then good behavior does pay off. If the shareholders are focusing on, reestablishing branches of the company, then, doing franchises or, extensions or other branches, that could pay off. All right. All right. So identifying financial needs, evaluation, and planning. So there's some ratios, of course, because we're talking about finances. There's some ratios that go into the sustainability of financial management, even if you are working for yourself. Okay. There's the ratio analysis to identify certain strengths and weaknesses of the business. And this is important. Even if you're not doing it on a monthly or quarterly basis, it's really good to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of an organization. And the only way to do that financially is to do the ratios. Okay? So liquid assets is one that can be quickly converted into cash with little risk to loss. Okay? So liquid assets are kind of like what they said. They're liquid, so they're fluid, and they're assets that can be used immediately. Okay? They're not long-term savings. So a savings account is not liquid assets. Okay, that has nothing to do with the liquidity of the availability of assets. Technically, savings is something that's supposed to be put off, collect interest, be used for a rainy day, or years away once the interest is collected. All right, asset management ratios, also called activity ratios, meaning that they're items that are being utilized right now, and you need to manage the asset that's going to be used to do whatever you want to do in the business. Okay, The measure of how effectively an organization uses assets and generate net income. So the net income is what you're looking for. You're looking for what is going to be my income after everything is paid, all the merchants are paid, all the supplies are purchased, after my debt is paid off, what's going to be my net income, okay? All right. So throughout the chapter, it talks about key financial ratios. So a couple of key financial ratios we're going to talk about, and it's really important. They're simple ratios, and they're all calculated by dividing. So like current. So the current is going to be the current assets and current liabilities. So it's assets over liabilities, okay? So you want to find out which one you have more or less of. It's a simple way to do it. Inventory turnover. So with inventory turnover, if you're doing your projected out budget, then depending on the type of organization you are, the business that you're running, either it's a good thing that you have leftover inventory or it isn't. So for instance, with Amazon, that publishes books or retains textbooks or things like that, that they have a high inventory rate, then that's bad. So because they're publishing on demand, or textbooks are constantly changing, having a high inventory is bad. Okay? All right, debt to assets. Now this is even a ratio that you can use in your everyday budget. So your total debt and your total assets. So it's a really quick way to find out of how much debt you need to pay off. And don't forget to measure in the interest rates, okay? I've had, many times where I thought, oh, this debt was completely paid off. And I was like, why is it not getting paid down? And I looked at the interest rate because of, a lot of times they'll say, interest free for, 3 years or whatever, or 90 days. And you pass that 90th day, then that interest that's been saving up is going to kick in and it's going to knock you back down. So you could have zero interest for 90 days. But if you wait until that 91st day to pay it off, then you're probably going to get hit with a whole bunch of interest. All right. Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk about short-term bank loans. Short-term bank loans can be a good thing. Normally, they're anything under $5,000. And a lot of the times it could be, super easy to pay off within, a year or 18 months or things like that. But it's a really great way to establish your credit. If you don't have any, credit as far as credibility, as far as, going to the bank and getting business loans or things like that, then you don't have substantiated credit on, whether or not your business has been, profitable or not. So a, $5,000 line of credit would be excellent to start off. Okay. But also look at those interest rates. It's really important to look at those as well. So a revolving credit agreement. Now, just to put this into simple terms, it's any credit card that does not have any assets attached to it. Okay. So it's a credit card that does not have any collateral. You have no collateral. So for instance, Capital One has a lot of revolving credit lines, meaning that there's nothing connected to the fact of you paying the credit card besides for your word and, your input that you put in when you applied for the credit card application. Okay. Now, once you apply for that credit card and you receive that revolving credit, now you've actually made a promissory note to pay whether or not you have the funds or not. That's your agreement, okay? A line of credit. So a line of credit works a little bit differently than a revolving line of credit. A line of credit is something that you can constantly draw off of. So it's kind of like an equity loan. So if you own a home and it's paid off, and now you're thinking, I want to do some home repairs, or I want to start a college fund. People, use equity loans for different things. So let's just say you want to remodel your kitchen or remodel the kitchen in the business. Let's keep it on business. Then you can apply for a line of credit. All right, you can get an equity loan, say for $50,000, and they can give it to you in increments. So that way you always have, money or credit available for you when you want to use it. Okay, so you necessarily won't get all 50,000 at one time. You could say, hey, I need $1,500 for the floors. Okay, here you go. Now you can either pay that off, or you could wait until whatever agreement you've established with the bank says, okay, well, this is how you're going to pay it off once you start using your line of credit. Okay. All right. So there are some pros and cons with debt financing. So some pros are you get to build up your credit. Depending on the type of debt that you're obtaining, your credit score could improve quickly or just, over time. Some cons are you'll be in debt and you're going to owe interest. And there's a possibility that, if you're using it for your business, that it may or may not be paid off in time based on what your projected financial statements say. All right, but overall, it just depends on what you want to do with your business and how you want to finance it, whether it's a line of credit, getting a loan, a short-term or long-term, doing investments, using shareholder money, using angel investors, which we talked about in a couple of chapters back as well. So there's different ways to do it. All right. Backtracking for a second, term loans. So term loans are super simple. Most of the time, they're related to credit unions because credit unions and banks have different financial regulations that they have to uphold. So it's important to look at the fine print when you're looking at different types of loans, whether it be long-term, short-term, or term. Okay. All right. Managing inventory, taking stock of the situation. So like we talked about before, your inventory is important, and you need to, keep in mind that it depends on what your inventory is. Now, if your inventory is canned goods, and a canned good can stay on the shelf for a minimum of 5 to 6 years, then having a high inventory isn't as bad as if your inventory was, something perishable like flowers or, fresh fruits or something like that. Okay. All right. High risk, high return. Now that's a term that has been used in the business world a lot. So high risk, high return, meaning that if you take a high risk and you go all in and you start your business right away and you go into debt right away and you start new products right away, then all those things persistently grow. Your business grows, your debt goes down, and your inventory goes down because you're meeting the supply and demand of that particular item. Then that's a good thing. But it could go bad really fast. So remember, the higher the risk of your business, the higher the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return. But once you find where your supply and demand spot is, then you can make that decision on whether if that high risk, high return is going to be applicable to you and your business, or if you want to suggest that to shareholders of a business. All right, so that was chapter 9. I am here for questions. I'm here if you guys have any specific topics that you would like me to do a video lecture on, because I am here for your success. All right, have a great day, students.